Hey, what's up guys? Phoenix here, and in this video we're going to be talking about a new card spoiled for release in the OCG's Dimension box, a new piece of DDD support in the form of Dark Contract of the Grotesque entity, a new Dark Contract spell for the deck to potentially play and use in the future of its existence. Now, when this card was spoiled, I had a lot of people messaging me on whether or not I liked the card, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, would I play it, would I not, and in short, as of right now, no, I would not play this card. And that's pretty much it. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that nonsense. No. Let's take some time and actually talk about this card and actually explain why I don't think it should be played and why I don't think I will be personally playing the card. Now, it's a new one of those dark contracts that requires you to pay 2k during each standby phase. So it's in the same tier of dark contract cards with Forbidden Dark Contract with the Swamp King. Now, personally, I think it's kind of weird that they named it Dark Contract of the Grotesque entity and then had it be a 2,000 payer because, you know, it could have been inferred that the Forbidden Dark Contracts were going to be the one that required you to pay 2k. That could have been a bit of, theming that they could have kept up, but they chose not to go that direction. Very minor, but I mean, it's a kind of a lore thing that they missed out on, essentially. But Dark Contract of the Grotesque entity's effects are: first effect, when this following type of DDD monster is special summoned from the extra deck to your side of the field, apply each appropriate effect once per turn. So it has to be summoned from the extra deck, and it has to be a DDD monster. Those are very important. The summoning from extra deck is probably the most relevant and most important part. But apply each of the appropriate effects once per turn. If it was a fusion, gain 1,000 life points. If it was a synchro, your opponent cannot target that special summon monster with a card effect. If it was an Xyz monster, banish one card on the field or in either graveyard. It does not target. That one's actually pretty good. If it was a pendulum, draw one card, then discard one card. And then it's once per turn during your standby phase, take 2,000 damage effect, is the secondary effect of the card. Now, the problem I have with this is that it doesn't do much. It's very much like Dark Contract, Forbidden Dark Contract with the Swamp King, the secondary fusion card, and that it doesn't do enough. It's kind of very restricting in terms of this requires you to play this card for an overall -1 when you activate it. It doesn't replace itself until you do something like Xyz into a DDD, and then or Synchro into or Pendulum Summon a DDD from your extra deck. That's the issue I have with this card. Now, this card would actually probably be worth playing and be fine to play if the fusion and Xyz effects were swapped. Then it would be a lot better. But the issue is that Xyz summoning in the DDD deck currently is not really the main focus. You very much go out of the way to do it. The most optimal usage of this card would be in the fusion and synchro categories, but the synchro category doesn't really do anything. I mean, I guess it gives you an extra layer of protection on DDD Siegfried, the big level 8. But otherwise, it doesn't really matter. The synchro effect might as well not even be on the card. The fusion effect, gain 1,000 life points, I guess that's kind of cool, but it just doesn't do enough. It's not something that's really going to be advancing your game state that much. The only effects that advance your game state are the Xyz and the Pendulum ones. And the Pendulum monster has to be a DDD that's being summoned from your extra deck, and even to trigger this card. So that means that you had to have an Oblivion King Ragnarok in your extra deck and Pendulum summon it from there. It's not like you could just special summon a Pendulum monster out of your hand off of Swirl Slime's graveyard effect or just Pendulum summoning from hand. You don't have that option. And that all in all just makes this card a bit worse. Now, its Xyz effect is really the most amazing effect on this card because it's a non-targeting banishment of a card on a field or in either player's graveyard. But the issue is that Xyz summoning with this deck is so incredibly difficult to do off the rip. And the only DDD Xyz that we have are Marksman King Tell, Wave King Caesar, and Duodon King Kali Yuga. And Duodon King Kali Yuga, when it's summoned, is going to negate this card effect. So you can't even summon Kali Yuga, which is arguably the easiest one to summon currently. And Wave King Caesar is pretty easy to summon when we get the new support. But typically you don't want to be Xyzing with these cards because Xyz summoning, you lose the Pendulum resource that the deck has finally gained with the structure deck. So there's just all these things that kind of stack up against this card and are very much out of this card's favor. I don't think this card is worth running at all. I think this card is very much like Forbidden Dark Contract with the Swamp King, and will ultimately just be one of those cards that it's neat and it's a good piece of lore. Could have been better with Forbidden Dark Contract in the name. But otherwise, in terms of playability, I really don't see it. Like, it just... The fusion effect and the Xyz effect, if those have been switched, or even if the fusion and the pendulum effect have been switched, that would have been neat as well. Because I could understand the Xyz effect being the one that is the hardest one to achieve, but gives you the best result, which is non-targeted banishing. That I can understand. But the fusion effect is what you're doing most readily with the deck. And the problem the deck has is consistency issues and, you know, running out of combo pieces. If you had made the pendulum monster summon effect be the fusion effect summon, then you could have just made it to where you fusion summon and then you get to hand correct. And then the card would have been really good because it would have been a draw card. It would have been, you have Swirl Slime and Necro Slime, and then you would also allow you to set up a lot of other interesting plays as well, because you could have had a hand like of this Swirl Slime, Necro Slime, and like DD Savant Thomas. And what it would allow you to do is use, you know, Thomas as the fusion material with Swirl Slime, and then this card would allow you to draw a card and discard the Necro Slime. So you essentially get 3 DDs in grave. You have like something like Flame King Genghis on board, and then your Necro Slime can summon another fusion, which Genghis could trigger to bring back Thomas. Like, there's so much like interaction that could have happened there, but instead the fusion effect is gain 1,000 life points. And that's kind of an issue that I have with the card. But anyway, that's my own personal opinion. You're all entitled to your own, and I'd like to know about your opinions in the comments down below about what you think about this card. I just think it's not worth it to play. If some of these effects had been switched around, the card would have been amazing. But as it stands, I think Konami was a little bit too scared of this card to make a card with 4 different effects that could all trigger in the same turn, essentially. But anyway, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to all the nonsense you usually do. Links are in the description to Twitch, Facebook, background music playlists. If you want to use any of those, they're resources free to use. Other than that, if you like this video and want to continue seeing content from me, give this video a big thumbs up, a big like. If you know some people that might also like my content, I encourage you to share my content around to them. Maybe encourage them to subscribe as well. Encouraging, you know, the subscriber base and the viewership base of this channel to grow is a fantastic way to show your support and a great way to ensure that I keep making content if that's what you want to see. But other than that, let me know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future in the comments down below. As always, let me know what you guys think. Again, thank you for your time as usual. Thanks for watching, and as always, guys, take care.